Alex Palou, for the second time in 3 years, is an NTT IndyCar Series champion. And in 19 consecutive seasons, Scott Dixon is going to be a winner again. Josef Newgarden finally wins the Indianapolis 500.
Welcome everyone. Today we are going to talk about 2023 IndyCar season. What we have seen this season, who was the biggest surprise, who was the biggest disappointment, and all the facts about 2023 season. Well, it wasn't the most entertaining season compared to 2022 or 2021 because the championship war has ended so early. By the mid-season, it was obvious that Alex Palou will win the championship. So let's start with the champion, Alex Palou. It's not a big surprise for me that Alex Palou has won the championship because in 2021 he was also very strong. He already proved himself as a very top talent IndyCar driver. McLaren boss Zak Brown was aware of him and was investing for him. You know, there has been a contract dispute between Zak Brown and Alex Palou as well. And as you see that I'm currently wearing Williams hat. Why I showed you that? Because I think he's among the top candidates for a Williams seat for next season. Because if we talk about the Formula 1 aspect of this thing, I don't think Logan Sargent is performing at top level and Alex Palou is a good candidate for his seat. By the way, I would like to see him in Formula 1 because I think he deserves it. He had an excellent season in IndyCar. He had 5 wins and 10 podiums this season if I'm not wrong, and he had never finished lower than 8th place. So he collected lots of valuable points this season and that's why he has clinched the championship early and by huge margin. So big congratulations for him as well. So our legend, Scott Dixon, you can even argue that he is the greatest of all time for IndyCar. He is the GOAT. You can say that. He's a 6-time IndyCar champion. He's right now 43 years old and chasing the top spot for most IndyCar wins as well. I think he can race until he's 45 or even 50s because he's still at top form. He finished the season at 2nd place and his late season performance was incredible. 3 wins in 4 races and podium in all of the races. Incredible performance by Scott Dixon. I think he's a great contender for next season as well, and I think maybe next year, maybe another year, if he does not lose his performance, his fitness, he can still win his 7th IndyCar Championship. So I would like to talk about Josef Newgarden because he was the contender alongside with Alex Palou and Scott Dixon. But he finished 5th. He had very inconsistent season in my opinion. He won some races. He was excellent in all races. He was about to win every all race this season but could not win the last one. And most importantly, he won the Indy 500. This was the first Indy 500 win of his career in which he has won 2 IndyCar championships. So I think he's not that unhappy. Yes, he finished the season at 5th place, but he won the Indy 500. Well, he was in the 3rd place before the last race, but Scott McLaughlin and Pato O'Ward has passed him in the last race because he finished the last race at 21st place. Scott McLaughlin finished the season at 3rd place. At the end of the last season, I was considering Scott McLaughlin to be a contender for next year, which I mean this year, but he couldn't contend that much. Even he finished the season at 3rd place, he wasn't at the championship hunt. But still, after the mid-season, he was very strong. He had some podiums and finished the last race at 2nd place. He had 3 second places after the mid-season and he has also won the Alabama Grand Prix. 4th place, Pato O'Ward, another driver that I thought can win the championship this year, but he could not. He had a very strong season start, finished 3 races at 2nd place. At the beginning parts of the season, I was considering him to be a strong contender as well, but he had some unlucky situations, especially at Indy 500 and Detroit Grand Prix, and he lost his momentum. Still, he got some very good results. He never finished lower than 9th after the Detroit Grand Prix. But Scott Dixon and Alex Palou were so strong at the later stage of the season, so he could not catch them. And number 6, Marcus Ericsson. He won the Indy 500 last year and started the season with a win. He looked very strong at the beginning of the season. I was considering him as last year's Indy 500 winner and win the opening race of the season. Maybe he can also contend. And you know, he's also a former Formula 1 driver. But at the later stage of the season, he was not that strong, especially at the closing stage. He could not get higher than 7th, so he finished the season at 6th place. And number 7, Will Power, another old driver, another old wolf, let's say, and last year's champion, most importantly, was not as strong as last year this season, so he finished the season at 7th place. Will Power's main strength is qualifying, as you know. He has 70 pole positions and is the number 1 driver of qualification in IndyCar history, statistically, because he has the most pole positions in IndyCar history. But he could not get that pole positions this year. He was not that strong in qualification. position, so he finished the season at 7th place. And Christian Lundgaard, he finished the season at 8th place. Former Formula 2 driver, I was watching him at Formula 2. He was showing some promises in his rookie season at Formula 2. I was expecting him to be fast in IndyCar. This year, I think he had a great season, and he even recorded a win this year. He won the Toronto Grand Prix this year. Great season for him. So let's continue with number 9. Alexander Rossi finished the season at 9th place. He didn't have the strongest season, but he did not have a weak season as well. His teammate Pato O'Ward has collected much more points than him, but he has collected points compared to his teammate Felix Rosenqvist. He could not win a race and he could only grab one podium this season. Not a bad season, not an excellent season in my opinion. So number 10, Colton Herta. Well, there was incredible amount of hype on Colton Herta. I was also a believer of him. I still believe him, by the way. I think this kid has really good pace, but he is very unlucky. He's suffering from lots of unlucky incidents in races. Sometimes he crashes himself, sometimes he cannot manage tires, but this kid has a very good pace, very good car control. And you know, AlphaTauri has seen something on him and insisted to sign him to Formula 1 last year, but as you know, he could not grab a FIA Super License points. He is still very young. He is the youngest IndyCar race winner, but he has been the disappointment of the season for me, because I was expecting him to win races this season. Not maybe the championship, but races, but he could not win any race. In certain races, he was close to win the race, but strategy, incidents, lots of things prevented him from winning races, so he could not win any race. And I think he could only grab one podium this season, which is very, very low. He could not even get a second place this season. He has pace. He's a fast driver. His car control is super, but he's very unlucky. I think strategies should be better for him. I think his tire management can be better, because at some races he's suffering from old tires as well, or maybe he cannot control full levels, but he's still open to growth in my opinion. Even in a very unlucky season like that, he passed his teammate Kyle Kirkwood and Romain Grosjean. By the way, Kyle Kirkwood also has suffered lots of incidents, and there is not very high point difference between them, only 4 points. And Kyle Kirkwood finished the season at 11th place, by the way. He also suffered from lots of things. And Romain Grosjean, I want to talk about him as well. He finished the season at 13th place. Romain Grosjean is the biggest disappointment for me, because at least I was expecting him to win an IndyCar race, but he could not win any IndyCar race. He could not win a race in Formula 1 as well. So I don't know what was the last time he won a race, maybe in GP2 or GP3, 10 or 12 years ago. So it has been a very, very long time for him, and I think that was the last race for him. His IndyCar career looks like it's over. Felix Rosenqvist finished the season at 12th place between Kyle Kirkwood and Romain Grosjean, 2 Andretti drivers. So I cannot talk about every driver. It will be 1 hour of a video. I want to talk about top 10 drivers and Marcus Armstrong, Rookie of the Year. I think Marcus Armstrong was among the top performers of this season, because it was his rookie season and he did not have a full-time seat. You know, he was sharing the car with Takuma Sato in all races, and he had an excellent performance for a rookie. He collected very, very good points for a part-time driver. Yes, he raced more races compared to Takuma Sato, but still, he finished the season at 20th place, collected more points from some of the full-time drivers. He had 5 top 10 places, 8, 9, 7, and 8. So it was the season of Chip Ganassi Racing simply. 1 and 2 in standings, they won the championship. Alex Palou won the championship. Scott Dixon finished the season 2nd, and other driver, Marcus Armstrong, grabbed the Rookie of the Year award. So it was an excellent season for Chip Ganassi, excellent season for Alex Palou. So who has been the biggest disappointment? As I said, Andretti drivers. Unfortunately, Colton Herta, he could have done better. At least I was expecting him to win a race. Romain Grosjean, again, I know he's a bit a crash-prone driver, but he's a fast driver. Don't underestimate him. That's why I was expecting him to win a race, but unfortunately he could not. He finished 2 races at 2nd place, 2 races in a row, but still could not get a win, and finished the season at 13th place, so it's a disappointment for me. Maybe Stingray Robb and Graham Rahal could have performed better compared to my expectations. They performed lower than my expectations. Graham Rahal was about to win a race this season, and I cannot make comments about young and very, very rookie drivers who has raced at very, very low amount of races, like Linus Lundqvist, Yuri Vips, and Tom Blomqvist. They raced at 2 or 3 races, so I cannot make any comments about them. We will see what they will do in next season, because probably they will race next season at IndyCar as full-time drivers. So as I talked about full-time drivers for next season, let's talk about the silly season, the transfers, driver market of 2024 season as well. We moved from Chip Ganassi Racing to Andretti. Andretti's driver lineup will consist of Colton Herta, Kyle Kirkwood, and Marcus Ericsson right now. Yes, they have Colton Herta, Kyle Kirkwood, and Marcus Ericsson right now, but they need another driver, because probably they will send Romain Grosjean, and it is rumored that they will also send Devlin DeFrancesco. So they need a 4th driver. Who can be their 4th driver? Maybe Jake Dennis can change his mind and race at IndyCar, because as you know, he's racing at Andretti team at Formula E and became the Formula E World Champion. He may want to test his skills at IndyCar as well to force a Formula 1 move at future. Logan Sargent can be, because I don't think that he will be in Formula 1 next season, especially in in recent races, he should have collected points. He's very, very far behind his teammate Alex Albon. So, as you know, he's American. He can be a good candidate for an IndyCar seat, and Andretti may want to sign him for their fourth spot. For Chip Ganassi, they have Scott Dixon. No need to talk about him. They signed Linus Lundqvist for their full-time seat, and they have signed Marcus Armstrong for their full-time seat as well. Now they have Dixon, Lundqvist, and Armstrong. But I did not talk about Alex Palou. Yes, they also have Alex Palou, but I think his chances of moving to Formula 1 are very, very strong. I think Formula 1 team bosses, team principals are aware of what he's achieving at IndyCar, and he does not have any FIA super license points problem. I don't know his contract status right now. He already has a contract dispute with McLaren, so he cannot move to McLaren. By the way, in my opinion, why he did not sign with McLaren is because he cannot see a seat for McLaren Formula 1 team. That's why I think he gave up the idea of moving to McLaren IndyCar team, because Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris are very, very strong, and if they do not move to teams like Mercedes Formula 1 team in the future, they will be staying at that team for many, many years. They are very young, so I think Alex Palou did not want to risk his Formula 1 seat with committing to McLaren. So everything is depending on Alex Palou's decision and situation. If he can find a seat at Formula 1, or if he decides to continue at IndyCar, yes, 4 drivers are completed for Chip Ganassi Racing. But if he goes to Formula 1, then Chip Ganassi Racing needs 4th driver as well. So for McLaren, they have Pato O'Ward and Alexander Rossi, and they signed David Malukas. So they have 3 drivers right now. But there are rumors that they might want to race with 4 cars next season. We will see. Penske, everything is guaranteed. Josef Newgarden, Will Power, and Scott McLaughlin. They have a very, very strong driver lineup. That wasn't the best season for them because they have 3 drivers who can contend for championship, but they finished 3rd, 5th, and 7th. McLaughlin, Newgarden, and Power respectively. So for Rahal, Letterman Lanigan Racing, Graham Rahal, simply son of the owner of the team, Bobby Rahal, a big legend. Christian Lundgaard and Yuri Vips, he raced at last 2 races of this season. He has a very good promise, he's very young. I think they will continue with Yuri Vips to see his skills. It's worth to try. For Meyer Shank Racing, they signed Felix Rosenqvist. Helio Castro Neves will not be driving full-time. Brazilian legend who will be 50 years old. He's right now, I think, 48 years old. 4-time winner of Indy 500, very, very big legend for IndyCar series, and he will be only racing at Indy 500 next season to pursue his 5th record-breaking 5th Indy 500 win. And Tom Blomqvist will be racing. For Junko Solinker Racing, well, Callum Ilot's name has been rumored with lots of teams. He may move to another team, we will see. But if he wants to continue, probably they will want to continue because Callum Ilott is not performing bad. He has pace. Only thing he needs is consistency. He's still young. Agustin Canapino, he's not that young, but he's rookie. But he had a good year. Maybe he can continue. Maybe team will want to continue with him. And AJ Foyt Racing, they made an agreement in terms of engineering and some supplies and technical issues with Penske team. So Benjamin Peterson, they will continue with him. And we do not know the contract status of Santino Ferrucci. We will see. At Carpenter Racing, Rinus VeeKay has a contract, but he can also leave for another team. For their other seat, Ryan Hunter-Reay, former champion of the series. I don't know whether he wants to continue racing full-time or not. He is already 42 years old. He has seen some decline at his career as well. Maybe he will not continue. Maybe in some races he will race. In some races Ed Carpenter himself will race. They sacked Connor Daly, as you know, so it's uncertain about them as well. For Dale Coyne Racing, David Malukas has led the team. It is rumored that they may not want to continue with Stingray Robb because he didn't have a very good rookie year. It is rumored again that they may sign Daniel Frost from IndyNext. There are lots of drivers rumored for that seat. So what we have for 2024 season, Helio Castro Neves is leaving IndyCar in terms of full-time racing. He's already 48 and 4-time Indy 500 winner. For Ryan Hunter-Reay, I don't know the status. Maybe he will not continue racing full-time. Simon Pagenaud, another driver that has unknown status because unfortunately he has been injured very, very dramatically this season and could not race in the remaining parts of the season. He is old as well, and like Ryan Hunter-Reay, he is a former series champion. And Romain Grosjean, I don't think he will be able to continue racing at IndyCar. He will lose his seat. And the last race of this season might have been the last race of his IndyCar career as well. So if Stingray Robb loses his seat, it can be end for his IndyCar career as well. For Connor Daly as well, you know, Tony Kanaan only raced at Indy 500 this year. Another legendary name for IndyCar. I wanted to mention him also. These are the names that we will not see as full-time drivers next year. So which drivers can be popular drivers for empty seats next year? Well, as I said, if he loses Formula 1 seat, Logan Sargent will be a very, very popular driver. Well, if Daniel Ricciardo cannot continue racing at AlphaTauri, I don't think he will continue at Formula 1. This is his last chance. He can be a very very, very popular driver to be approached by IndyCar teams as well. Felipe Drugovich and Theo Pourchaire can be, he cannot grab a Formula 1 seat right now. Maybe he can grab a Formula 1 seat. I don't know his situation. I'm always moving Alex Palou to Formula 1 seats in my personal predictions, but maybe Felipe Drugovich will grab these seats. And Theo Pourchaire, he's about to become Formula 2 champion right now. He's leading by a huge margin, and unless something extraordinary happens in the last race, he will win the Formula 2 championship. He can move to IndyCar as well. He's very, very young. He's 19 years old. He will be a popular driver to be signed as well. And drivers from IndyNext can be popular signings as well. And there are other rumors that Paretta, Kusik and Abel teams want to join IndyCar as teams. So if one or two of these teams join IndyCar grid, we will see much more new drivers at IndyCar because drivers are limited, teams are limited. So there are some rumors that I may not know. If I have missed anything, sorry for them, but I'm trying to chase every single rumor as much as I can. So thank you all for watching. See you in the next video.